she's got a whole sewing journey that goes back generations that she's excited to tell us about today. And she's going to be a great speaker, so give her a warm welcome, Jennifer Sosa. Hello.
So I had gotten this really cool PowerPoint together for you, but I didn't bring the correct HDMI cable, so you won't get to see it. But there's this really special, oh my goodness, I might even cry just thinking about it. There's this really special video that I want to share with you at the end that's very close to my heart. But you'll just get to hear it. You won't get to see it, you'll just get to hear it. But I can tell you where to go to look at it if you want to see it later. So, thank you for having me. Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about myself, a little bit of show and tell, of course talk about sewing, give away some prizes, hopefully encourage you, inspire you, and maybe even empower you a little bit. That's my main MO, is empowerment. And so I've already kind of given you a preview of the call. And this call is something that I learned, I guess, in my teens from a friend from church who, when we would get separated in the parking lot or whatever, she would do this, and you just always knew where she was, and you could always find your people. And I've used that call multiple times when I've gotten lost from my kids in the grocery store. I've even used it recently at a restaurant. It's a great way to make new friends. So, but the way we're going to use it today is, it's kind of my random way to alert you when it's about time to do a prize drawing, because I've got some prizes for you. And really, I'll tell you the truth, the prizes, if you've been to Stuff at Humble Sewing Center before, where I've been the presenter or a facilitator, the prizes are really just my excuse to get to sing to you. So, I won't sing a lot of times, but some of you already know the song, and I'm counting on you if you want to like hum along or whatever. But I think to make it, this is about having fun, right? So let's have fun. And one thing, just encourage you to give yourself permission to make this ridiculous noise that I'm talking about. That noise, like, that one. It really, like scientifically, it's really good for your serotonin levels. Yes, making that noise and that release of that joyful sound, or just letting yourself do it. It's like, I think it like activates your inner child. And also, but really, I think it's scientific. My Aunt Grace told me, so it has to be true. And I'm just so excited to be here. To me, it feels like, so it feels like the time that I took my my daughter to her first Comic-Con. Do I have any Comic-Con people in this room? Yes, my people. And so I took my daughter to her first Comic-Con, and she dressed up like one of the Doctor Who characters from the show. And yes, right. And I just wore these outrageous leggings that had like comic book crazy all over them, because I didn't have an outfit like I wasn't as cool as my kid. But we walked in there, and the first thing we walk in, and she looks around. I think it was the Jar Jar, or as my grandma calls it, the Jar Jar. And we were over there, and we walked in, and she looks around, and she just spreads her arms out, and she just goes, "Oh, my people." And then she had the best day, and so did I. We had the best time together. But that's how I feel right now with you ladies. You're my people. And so we're gonna have some fun. And another thing, this public speaking thing, right? It was kind of, I think it was meant to be for me, like it's in my blood. I was telling Jimmy's here today. She's one of my people that I go to her house and do private lessons. I was telling Jimmy about this, and she said, "You have to tell him." So, first grade, first grade, the teacher's asking me, everybody, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm thinking, I'm having this vision of being a teacher or being somebody like on a stage, like doing a show. And I'm just like 6 years old at that point, but that's what I'm thinking of when she's asking me what I want to be when I grow up. Well, so as time progresses, I became the one that always wanted to talk to everybody all the time in the room. So I had a strategy. I would leave home extra early so I could get to school early, so I could get in the classroom early, so I could start my work early, so I could get done faster, so I could talk. And that my teacher was like, Jennifer. And I wasn't a malicious kid, I was just a chatterbox. And she's like, get your desk, that's it, get your desk. And bring it up here and put it by my desk. So literally Miss Kelly was right here and my desk was right there. And so I'm hobbling with my back to the class to get to the front of the room, and I'm ashamed, turning my desk around. And then I sat it down, and then I looked up and I looked out and I went, oh, I can see everybody. Andre, guess what? So I got it. So she didn't keep me at the front of the room. She started giving me things to do, like be her helper with the stenograph. Is it stenograph? That thing the purple thing where you make copies. She would give me things to do. Mimeograph, that thing. And so she found ways to keep me out of trouble. So thank God for Miss Kelly. And I'm just so grateful today. My mom is here. Mom, raise your hand. This is my mom, Julie. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be me. I owe my life to you. And my Gigi is here. This is Gigi. Her name is Vera. That's my Gigi. And I've got some good friends all through the room, which I'll be maybe calling you out in a little bit, but I'm just really grateful to have you all here today. I'm going to share a little bit of my background. Oh, and here's the thing. I should have started this timer so that I could shut up at the right time.
That wouldn't be any fun then.
No. So what I'm going to do is set a timer for about, let's pretend I haven't been talking yet, okay?
Start over.
Just start the timer over. I'm going to set a timer for, a little while from now, just to let me know that, hey, you're running a time, wrap it up, chick. Okay, so a little bit of my background. I just wanted to tell you that, one, I have 3 grandmas who really inspired me to sew. One is present. This is, like I said, this is Gigi. And Gigi was always making beautiful clothing, beautiful outfits to wear to dinner parties and whatever. They had to go to business dinner parties and stuff. And she was always just beautifully dressed. And then I had a great-grandmother who's now gone, but she was like a master tailor. She'd make suits and all that. But my earliest sewing memory is of my grandma Rivera, and she's also gone now, but she had this little beaded bag that, those old-fashioned bags that have those little tiny beads all over them. Well, I was little, maybe like 4, I think, and she was letting me play with the bag. And she turned her back on me a little too long, and the next thing she saw was me. I was biting off all the little beads and swallowing some of them. But I was, just biting the beads off. But then she didn't get mad at me. She was like, "Let's show you how to thread a needle." So my earliest sewing memory was learning to thread a needle because I needed to try to sew some beads back onto the little bag. It was all good. So a little bit more about me. My favorite thing to wear, if I could wear it all the time, is pajamas. In fact, I was showing my Gigi yesterday. I was like, Gigi, what do you think? Would it be okay if I wear these during my talk? I'm so tempted to wear my pajamas. I even have a matching shirt. I got this shirt at the dollar store, and then I used the serger, because I'm a sergeraholic, and I did a ruffled well, it's called a lettuce edge, decorative stitch lettuce edge on the, so you see that ripply, thank you, Nancy. So I even like added the decorative edge because it's a huge, comfortable t-shirt, but it needed a little pop of color. So I was so tempted to wear that outfit today. Maybe if we have enough fun together, we can plan a slumber party like event or something like that, and we can all wear our crazy pajamas. Just throwing that out there. And then, oh yeah, and so I mentioned that okay, so with the sergers, with the pajamas, one of the reasons I love to make pajamas is I can make them fast. And like I can make a pair of pajamas bottoms in like 30 minutes on the serger. And I mean, I think that's even with cutting them out, cutting them out real quick and just whip them through that machine. And my favorite things to sew. So I'm just gonna go through this, basically my presentation's got a lot of crazy little stories about me. And then, like I said, something to encourage you and inspire you, hopefully. So some of my favorite things to sew are pajamas, bags, aprons, pillows. I have a bag and pillow making addiction. And I'm okay, or hobby, addiction hobby. But this is a safe place. Where we are right here, this is where we can get real, okay? Honest, no shame. And that brings me to the topic of the fabric stash. Does anybody here have a fabric stash? Wave that hand high. This is our people. Does yours take up a closet? Yeah. Does it take up more than a closet?
And the attic?
Oh, the attic. So there was this, because I teach sewing classes and a lot at Edible Sewing Center, I get to hear lots of stories from other people. And so we were talking about our fabric stash confessions, and the woman who told me this story, she might be here, because I don't really remember the details of her face that day, I just remembered the story. We were talking about fabric stashes, and she said, oh yes, I have a whole room. The whole room is just wall-to-wall fabric. There's shelves, and there's just fabric, and everywhere. The closet's overfull with fabric. And she said, and one day her husband came in that room, and he didn't usually go up in there. And he came in that room, and he's like, peeps his head, and he's like, oh my, that's a lot of fabric. That must be like $500. She's like, So, it's time for a prize drawing, that's right. Welcome, we're having a prize drawing, okay.
What if I lost my ticket?
Oh, I'm so sorry. So, if my slideshow was working, I would be showing you right now a slide of Tea Time Quilts, their logo, their address, their store hours, and their phone number. So let's just visualize together. And I can turn the page on this so I can visualize better from here. Okay, so Tea Time Quilting, if you're interested, here's the address. 1046 Tulane Street in Houston. It's kind of in the Heights. They are wonderful people. And they are a full service quilt shop. So they have thousands of fat quarters and yards and yards of fabric. The owner is, now I'm curious of something. I could have sworn I wrote down. Okay. Bear with me a second. Tea Time Quilts. Okay. So the owner's name is Jana. Her daughter, Jelena, I believe is how you pronounce it, she kind of helps run it. And then her younger sister, maybe older, I'm not sure, Jaylyn, has her own long arm quilting business that they do through the shop, which I'm planning to take a very precious quilt over there, if it ever gets made and finished. But, so here's how we do the prize drawings. I'm gonna sing you a song. Now this song, see, I was raised by clowns, but, I mean, okay, not really, but I used to work for the clowns. At the Mexican rodeo, Mom let me work for the clowns. And so I would get a full clown costume and go with them and sell balloons in Spanish. I don't even speak Spanish, but I could sell you a balloon in Spanish. And so the clowns taught me this one song, which some of you already know the song. And you're gonna be thankful it's not the corn dog song, if some of you know the corn dog song. But I'm not gonna sing the corn dog song, I'm gonna sing you the other song. So this is how it goes. So, this is how it goes. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it if you can. Shake it like a milkshake and do it once again. Rumble to the bottom, rumble to the top. Turn around and turn around until you make it stop. And the first prize of today, there will be numerous prizes. So you have your ticket. 9, 5, 4, 0, 2, 7. Everybody's here. 9, 5, 4, 0, 2, 7. Did you lose your ticket?
Yes.
Oh, I wish we had a way to verify your ticket. Should I give this prize to the person who lost hers, or should I draw one more?
Hey, I lost mine too.
Okay, we're gonna draw one more. We're gonna draw. Okay, this is for the prize that is sponsored by Tea Time Quilts. 9, 5, 4, 6, 1, 8.
Go get the other roll.
Let me look at something here.
Might be the other group.
Okay, just to verify, Mom cut these in half, and it's the same number on each end of it. So that's not the issue. We just have some people who lost their tickets. So sorry. Okay, so well, we'll see who's gonna win this. Surely we got somebody else. Do you want me to repeat that? Oh, let me repeat the first two tickets just to make sure. You might have overlooked your numbers. The first, well, one of them was 954027. Anybody holding one that ends in 27? Gigi, do you have the winning ticket? No. And then
She would.
And then 954618. It ends in 18. Okay, I tried, ladies. All right, here's this one. This has never happened before, by the way. This has never happened. 954648.
If somebody even has the 600 series?
Say what?
0, not 6.
There's 0.
I got my glasses on, girls. Look, Nancy, you
They
do
should all be
it.
0.
The fourth digit is a 0.
We don't have any 600 series.
Maybe some of the other roll.
Yeah, but even though
Oh, no, it is.
it's only 648, the most it could be.
Do I have a 648? 954648.
Damn 600 series, nobody has.
Yeah.
You got the right
What
ball.
if it was 0?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
That's the last one.
Oh, right.
Okay, here's one. Is everybody in the room? 954059.
That must be Rosemary.
Yay! I didn't do, right, the magic. This is from, Tea Time Quilts to you.
Oh, thank you, Tea Time Quilts.
Ooh, that suspense, that was stressful. Glad we have a winner. I don't even want to look at the numbers. We're just trusting her that the numbers.
She offered it to you.
She did offer it, so that's all good. Okay, so earlier, you know how I was mentioning that I was raised by clowns, you know, okay. Well, so does anybody want to see a picture of me when I was younger? So if my slideshow was working, hold on, but it kind of is, hold on, bear with me. So this is a picture of me when I was younger. This was yesterday. And if you could see, you know, because it's on this little bitty screen, but if you could see, you would see that guess what I'm wearing? Pajamas. And then wait, I think there's. Okay, because you know, every picture we take is always of us when we were younger. Every time. And okay, but really, do you want to see a picture of me when I really was younger? When I for real was younger? Okay.
Day before yesterday.
Right. That would have been so good. So this is a baby picture. And I got all these curls. And for those of you who are closer, you can see that, guess what I'm doing in the picture? Talking. And my hands I'm gesticulating because I talk with my hands. So it's just in the DNA. I come by it honestly, it's just who I am. Okay. So, okay, speaking of the talking, you saw the picture, always talking. And it really can be, the talking thing, the excessive talking, it can be a problem, especially when you're at work and you're supposed to be selling a machine, but you're visiting with the person who you're selling to more than you're selling. And so, or when your coworker has something else she really needs to get done, but you're talking to her and telling her a story that's it's like not ending, and then she really needs to get the thing done. And so my coworker Annette, some of you know Annette over at Humble Sewing Center, she's just the sweetest woman. So Annette came up with, out of desperation, she came up with a sign for me for when, to kind of give me a reminder of, hey, wrap it up, Jen, wrap it up. So let me show you. And try not to trip over cables and stuff. So she was okay. She was okay, Jenny. She was okay, thank you. She was okay, Jenny. If your story is going too long, this is what I'm gonna do. This is, I don't know if y'all can see my legs are crossed. This is the universal, wrap it up, I gotta pee, wrap it up. So, I got an alarm set on the phone to let me know that it's getting close to the end of time for me to wrap it up. But if I ignore the alarm for too many times and y'all are like, y'all really want to get to your fabric finish sale? Y'all need to just like do a conspiracy thing or like a flash mob thing, but like you don't have to dance, but y'all can like get up and go. And then I'll know, okay, I'll stop. I'll let you go shop for your fabric. So, okay, so a little bit more about me. So this is a slide of my logo, StitchinJenny, and then it's got my website on it. It says www.stitchinjenny.com, and then below that, in nice bold letters, it says, if I can do it, So can you. What I spelled sew, S-E-W. So that's there. That's there to, like, as you're listening to me talk, I have this encouraging thing on the walls. If you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can never get up there and talk like that, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you can. If I can do it, so can you. And then, oh, this is one of my favorite parts now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some of my favorite jobs that I've had. I mentioned that I've worked for Humble Sewing Center and that I've been a clown. I've also been the Chuck E. Cheese rat. I was the shortest rat they ever had, but that was really fun. And then I've also, one of my most favorite things I ever got to do was I was a bouncer. Yes, I know. Lucille, this woman named Lucille and I got to be bouncers together. We had our big old pink shirts on with the Humble Sewing Center logo on, and there was an event at the Humble Civic Center, and we had there was a quilt show event, and there was Nancy Zeman was there for that. And we were at the door. We were like just checking people's tickets at the door. So Lucille and I were actually kidding around that we were bouncers, and we were doing our bouncer posture and everything. But people just kind of rolled their eyes at us and passed on through. But we enjoyed our job. And so here, logistics. So here's the part. So I have this toolbox that I bring with me when I teach classes and private lessons and all that. And you know, a little bit more about me. It's like wanting to share with you some of my favorite tools. Because, right, we always want to know what each other's favorite tools are, because why? So we can go get them too, right? Like, I'm not on commission for any of these tools. I just want to share my favorite tools with you because you're my people. And this is what we do. And so, first, one of my favorite tools, does anybody like Kai scissors? I am a fan of Kai scissors, right? They just cut like butter through all the things. And don't use them on paper, right? Don't let your man use them on paper. That's grounds for divorce, I've heard. So we won't let the man use them on paper. And then also one of my favorite tools here lately is this little point turner. And it's from Floriani. The tip is small and rounded though. So when you're having to shove the corners out and things, have you ever busted the corners out because your point turner was too pointy? So this is an awesome rounded end. And then it's long enough to get in there without you having to get your hand into little things. And also it's a cool design because it's kind of like a hexagon design, so it won't roll off of things, except for this will slide, but it won't roll off your table. So they sell these over at Humble Sewing Center. They do. But you can probably get them on the internet too, but I want to encourage everybody to support local. So if you're not a shopper at Humble Sewing Center, whoever your shop is, get this over there. And then, one of my other favorite tools is Wonder Tape. I wonder what I used to do without it, like it's awesome. It's double-sided, sticky, adhesive, wash-away tape, and I use it to help me hold things in place for like putting in zippers and very many other things. But that's one of my other favorites. And then, this one. So these they're not Harry Potter wands, but they could be. They're so cool. These are also point turners. I got these. This is a special memory for me. My Gigi went with me to the quilt show one year, and she bought me these at the quilt show. And I've used them many, many times. And I got these before that little skinny Floriani one came to be. But this was really cool because it's rounded at the end. This end is rounded and not poking through, and then the other one's beveled for that. Finger pressing? It's like beveled. So I couldn't tell you who the company was for these, but if anybody's going to the quilt show, I don't know. And then also one of my last one that I'm going to show you is my favorite rotary cutter. This is from quiltersselect.com, and it's an ambidextrous rotary cutter. So you push the button and flick the lever, and it goes, right-handed, left-handed. I didn't realize how much I needed this until I started using it, because then I went back to like the traditional rotary cutter, and I can use, because you're supposed to, on these you're supposed to switch the blade from one side to the other if you're going to use it left or right-handed, which is dangerous and time-consuming. And so I'm too lazy to do that. So I'll use it. I'll use it illegally, It's set for left-handed cutting, but I'll use it right-handed. But you have to hold it like crazy. So don't. So I love this guy. It's kind of ergonomic and weighted. Feel it, right? This is awesome. So I'm not on commission for any of these companies. I just am sharing the love, okay? And if the visual part was working right now, this was where I wanted to show you my video that I've just released. I've done a video tutorial on how to use the rotary cutter to cut width of fabric strips. And I hope that you'll find my video whenever you get to see it. I hope you find it to be clear visually and good audio. I just keep hearing from people who come to my classes that part of the reason, and I'm not trying to put myself out of the teaching business, but they come to classes and they're like, I've watched so many YouTube videos trying to learn how to do this technique or that technique, but the person's hands are always in the way, the lighting's bad, I can't hear what they're saying. So I've been starting to make my own videos. So on my website, StitchinJenny.com, you can go to that website and click on the video tutorials, and they're free. The videos are free. And there's not a whole bunch yet, but it's going to grow. So, and that was page 2. Now, and then, get that serotonin going. Get that serotonin going. We gotta hopefully do the get that box to work right this time. Ready? One more time. Okay. Y'all are all gonna sleep so good tonight with all that serotonin. All right. So if my slideshow, I'm gonna keep referring to if my slideshow was working, and this isn't to make anybody feel bad. It's my own self. I should have brought that stupid cable. So on this slide, what you can see here is Humble Sewing Center's logo and the store hours and address and so on and so on. Now, their address I know by heart because I used to work there. And that, if you want that, it's in Humble, it's 611 FM 1960 Bypass Road East. And their phone number, if you want the phone number, their phone number is also the Wi-Fi password. So it's the guest Wi-Fi password. My mom's face is like. I'm so glad you came, Mom. And so the phone number to the shop is 281-446-1818. And if you call and get the voice machine, the recording, it might be me still. So you might still hear me going, well, thank you for calling Humble Sewing Center. Please leave a message. All right, so Humble Sewing Center is very near and dear to my heart. They are not only an awesome dealership, and that's a thing, to have an awesome place to go to get your supplies, to get your support. When you have questions, if you wreck your machine, a place that's going to fix it and fix it well, or keep trying and keep trying. They don't give up. They're only human, but they don't give up if they didn't get it right the first time. They'll keep trying. Or you might take it home and wreck it another way, and they'll fix it for you again. So I loved working for them when I was working there. I really did. One of my favorite things though in the in the sales business or the sales assignment part of it was for me, because selling things, I'm not really like a salesperson like how the car lot salesman is. Like he's just trying to get your money, get you in whatever. I liked to connect to the customer and find out what you were planning on making, and so I could help you find the right one, the right machine that did all the most things that you wanted it to do. Right, Nancy? That's right.
She sold me a
That's
machine.
right. And right, Linda?
Oh, that's really right.
How many people in here bought a machine from me? I know 2. That look, see, there's a few. I bought a machine from me
I
too.
bought one from Brad.
There you go.
I still have it too.
There you go. And so one thing I would do to help, because what I found was when I was helping a person try to figure out which machine they wanted, and they would realize it was a little more expensive than they had given themselves. Because you have to give yourself permission to spoil yourself and get the machine in the first place. And then you get there, and then it's like, oh, but I want that one. And then, but you don't do it because you don't think you should, whatever. And so it was like therapy or ministry. I was like, help you walk through the process to get you to the point where you could give yourself permission to do the nice thing for yourself. And this is actually for your benefit, because it's kind of like that thing when you're on an airplane, what they tell you, if there's a problem and turbulence or whatever, the oxygen mask is gonna drop down, and you should put it on your face first so that you don't pass out, right? So that you can help the next person or whatever. And I really did, there were multiple times when different ladies that I would be talking to would be like, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I can't get myself that. And then I would ask her more about herself. And she was the mom who was always doing everything for everybody in the family. Taking care of all the kids, doing for the husband, doing for the extended relatives, doing for the next. She was always doing for everybody. And she liked to make things for them as presents. And that helped her, feel happy giving them something nice that she made. But her hobby, her passion, her love was sewing. So it's like, it's like that oxygen thing on the airplane. If you give yourself a nice tool and you have fun using it instead of you're griping at it because it's not doing what you want it to do, but you're in a happier zone, you're in a happier place, you're a better version of you, you're your best self, and then you're your best self to give to all those people that you love. So see, y'all want to buy a new machine today, right? I'm not selling machines, but I'm just saying, it's true. And I think take that cruise. Who's in here who wanted to take their cruise and hasn't done it yet? Take that cruise. Yeah. Just saying, rabbit trail. So, but now, I resigned from there a little over a year ago. I really decided I wanted to do more self-care for me and make more time to be with my family and do things like that and travel and stuff. And so now I'm self-employed. And I love being my own boss. Is there anybody in here who's their own boss? Anyone? Good for you. Good for you.
Actually, everybody is if they're a sewer.
There you go.
Yeah, if you're a sewer, you're your own boss. Create
There you
design.
go. Speaking of being your own boss, I just for some reason, so the other day, so there's this Jack Russell Terrier in my life. His name is Leo, and he is the sweetest dog. Like, if I'm talking to my boyfriend and Leo needs something or to go out, and I'm talking to Nathan, Leo will come up and he'll like tap me on the leg. Like, excuse me. So he's a sweet boy. He really is a sweet boy. But he's also, I was asking Nathan, because in dog minds, they pack mentality, there's theories about how dogs view the world and view existence. And there's usually the head of the house, the man, the dominant personality in the house, that's the alpha, and then the family pecking order or whatever, and then whatever. But so I was asking Nathan, you know all that dog stuff and alpha dog and pack order? What do you think Leo thinks about me? And he's like, well, I think that Leo thinks he's my pet, and I think he thinks that you're his pet. And I think it's true. And so the other day I was getting my keys to go out the door, and Leo's like, and I was like, because he does that to Nathan when Nathan gets his keys to go out the door. I'll be there with Leo, but Nathan's leaving and Leo's not having it. He's like, and so he's mad that Nathan's leaving him. And so he's never done that to me before, but I must have climbed the order of being important to Leo, because now he was scolding me that I was fixing to leave. And I went, hey! And he goes, you don't know how dogs do, they turn their head like, and he's like, and I go, you're not the boss of me. That was the punchline. You're not the boss of me. Because we're our own bosses. I had to tell the dog, I had to put the dog in his place. Remember when we were little? And me and my sister would tell these stupid jokes to each other. We try to tell them to my mom, and she just like, and then we go, okay, Mom, the joke bomb, don't blame me. And now I'm sitting here like, Mom, remember? It's an inside thing, no, sorry. Okay. So back to the prize drawing. Nobody crossed their legs. If somebody had stood up and crossed their legs, I would have known, wrap that up, get to the prize. Okay, let's see, at least I put a note here. So, prize drawings. Prizes. Now, These prizes.
Where's the restroom? She wants to know.
Oh, for real, for real?
For real.
So the ladies' room is down the hall to where the check-in table is. Take the left. You'll see it's your first lesson. There's a wonderful person who's going to guide you all the way there.
There you go.
Hey, give your ticket to her so she can win for you. That would really stink if you have the win.
Oh, I'll hold it for her. Okay.
Okay,
Let's put it right here.
so we're gonna let you win by proxy.
There you go. We're gonna do this as we can.
So I've got some prizes from Humble Sewing Center for you.
Thank you.
And on that note, they were so generous to give these prizes, and they've been so generous to me since I'm not working there anymore. I'm still part of their family, and they're constantly passing out my business cards and referring people. So I get so many appointments because of their goodwill towards me, and I really appreciate them. And they let me use their classroom to teach bigger classes and little private lesson ones as well. So I'm very, and they've just been very wonderful to me, and I really appreciate Brad, the owner, and some of you remember or know Brad. So, prizes. We got some embroidery designs. These are in the hoop freestanding lace embroidery designs. So there's 3 winners, potential winners. So let's start there. I'm not gonna sing, I'm just gonna shake. Okay. And then here you go. And this ticket is 954013. Yay! And this is for Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. Coming out today. Can you pass this to Joyce for me? And the next prize winner is 954021. Anyone? Yay! Whoop whoop! Awesome, awesome.
Here, I'll pass back for you.
Thank you. And the third winner of this particular embroidery design collection is 954051. Yay! Okay, but wait, there's 2 more prizes. I did them. There's 2 more to go. Two more potential winners, and then we'll go back to my thing. Y'all really can. You can cross your legs, and you don't want me to stop. Y'all really can. Try not to cry. Okay. Okay. This prize is a serger toolkit. Now, if you don't have a serger, don't be sad if you win this. Because you can still use the tools in here. There's some cool tools in here, okay? Premium serger toolkit. Okay. 95401334. Now this last prize is a really nice collection of embroidery designs. They're partnered, but Baby Lock partnered with Anita Good Design. This book has designs in it that total up to worth over $700 in retail value. Some of you might have gotten it with your Solaris purchase back when Solaris first came out, but they wanted to give one away. So, gorgeous designs up in here. 954043. you're the lucky winner. Now all you have to do is get us the warrant. So this, hold on a second. Oh yeah. So this is the part where I'm going to briefly tell you a little bit about my business and my website. So this slide is a slide that shows my my logo and my web address. Just again, that's StitchinJenny.com. And then the next slide is my website's homepage. And I really did a nice job on my homepage, as you can see. It's very well organized, and there's a tab to click on for if you want to do private lessons with me. I'll meet with you at Humble Sewing Center. Depending on how far you are, I might come to your house and do a private lesson in your house. So that's, information about the private lessons. There's information about the group classes. Oh, and here's where I would have shown you, here's where I would have shown you this cool embroidery project that I'm teaching in October. It's so fun. It's this Halloween theme. It's this, just visualize with me. It's this really colorful orange and yellow kitchen towel with a really cute split applique bat, and it says trick or treat. So cute. And then there's this really cute little candy cutie from Pickle Pie Designs, and it's got a clear vinyl opening on his tummy, and you can see the candy through his tummy, and you can open his back and put more candy in and eat more candy and put more in. They're just fun. And that class is coming up, and you can go to my website and you can click on the classes information to see the dates and times, and then you can call Humble Sewing Center 281-446-1818, and you can sign up for my class. And then also, I have video tutorials on that website as well, and then that's what so that was the slide of the candy cuties, and then that's the slide of the, are you a visual learner? That's the tagline on the, are you a visual learner? Check out my videos. So, and they're free. Okay, so then, just to tell you, so I'm just so happy to be finally following my dream. Getting to be self-employed is a really nice privilege. I couldn't do it without my family who's there for me. And I just want to encourage you, whatever your dream is, you might have had to put it on hold because life happens, but I just want to encourage you to pursue your dream, whatever it is. If I can do it, so can you. You are so awesome. And so this is where I wanted to, usually when someone's up and presenting and we're talking all about ourselves and how you can support us financially by buying our stuff or booking me to do classes for you or whatever, yeah, blah, 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 all that's done now. What about you? Is anybody in this room right now, I know at least one person, who either they are personally starting their own business, it could be sewing related, preferably sewing related because that's our context, but if you're starting your own whatever company, is there anybody in this room who's personally starting their own company or has been running their own little company, or someone that's very near and dear to them, like a granddaughter, has maybe an Etsy page, she's making cool stuff and selling it on her Etsy page. If that's, if you're here today and you would like to let people know about the person you love's business or your own business, come up here. It's just for a moment. It's just for a moment. It's your chance. If you don't take your opportunities when they're given to you, that's on you. I'm just saying. This is a safe place. We're gonna encourage each other and support each other. Woo-hoo!
Oh boy,
So, here, this is what I'm gonna do. So, what's your name?
I'm not the only one up here, am I?
So, what's your name?
Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. Actually, I've known Carrie since I was 18. Her daughter's a dear friend of mine as well. So, Carrie, where's my little questions? I have them right here.
Okay.
No, really, I did. Oh, yeah. So, what's your business?
I don't have a business. My granddaughter does. She's a junior member of the ASG. She absolutely is proud of being an ASG member. The day she got her little ASG card, she texted me and emailed me a picture of it. It's just so cool. She joined up when she was 14. When she was 15, she started a little Etsy business, and it's scrunchies and things like that. She went into masks, and now she makes these little mini chicken pin cushions. She loves it, and she loves sewing. Her baby lock sits right there in her bedroom. I cannot exactly quote her Etsy website, but it's something like, I'm gonna start my.
So she's gonna look that up, and then if you're one of those kind-hearted, wonderful ladies who likes to support the next generation and encourage the next generation of sewers, come see Carrie later and ask her for that address so that you could visit her granddaughter's Etsy shop. Okay?
She was gonna make it
Agreed?
today.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay.
She couldn't make it today.
Thank you, Carrie. And what's your name?
I'm Jean, and I'm currently the owner of Lucia. We have plenty business. We do not advertise because we get stuff from all over the world to finish for other people. We quilt, we sew in embroidery.
Thank you, Jean. And do you want to give, if anybody's interested in finding out more about what Jean's doing, because maybe you could get some more business today.
Well,
what would the best way to reach you?
Right now, we're currently rebuilding a quilt spa, not a quilt shop, a quilt spa. Hello? What did I say? A quilt spa. We have the first one in the whole United States. Currently out of Houston. We're rebuilding at 11722 South Spicewood Lane,
How far in town is that?
Northeast.
Do you have a website? Wow.
No, but I'm currently on somebody else's website, and I'm in there with the American Guild, slogan on me. Creativities, y'all heard of creativities?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in there with them.
Oh, nice.
You might see me one day with American Sewing Guild, you might see me one day with the Red Hatters, and then you see me with Lucia, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Thank you, Jean. All right, one more. And what is your name?
Jane Luderman.
And what is your business?
I have fitting classes of making personal slopers.
Oh my goodness. She teaches fitting classes how to make personal slopers. That is a very important thing to be able to do if you want to make your own clothing. You want to tell them what slopers are?
A sloper is a flat pattern that gives you a three-dimensional description of your personal body. And you can use slopers to make commercial patterns fit. If you know what sizes are, different positions, you can make things fit. So first you got to make the sloper, then you got to know how to use it. But that's kind of the idea.
And that's what you do?
Yes.
Oh, that's
And we've posted classes on the website. We could probably post some of these other things on the website too. So we'll do that.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, we have one more.
What is your name?
My name is Kathy Wood, and I have a business called K Music. Music was my maiden name, and it ended with a K, and I'm losing my voice. I'm a creative artist. I'm not a technician. I like to make a lot of things. I don't like to make anything the same. I've got about 80 jackets I've made that are hanging in my living room. I've got about 140 jewelry cases that are in a box in my living room. I've got about 70 or 80 necklaces I just made that are in my living room. And I'm going to go to a festival and sell some things and see if I can sell them. I'm having a good time. I'm using up scraps. My husband said no more fabric, so I'm using everything I've got. A lot of white muslin. I'm doing Rorschach prints for jewelry, and I also have a dance company that I do costumes for.
Amazing.
And I'm busy all the time. If I'm not working on a project, I feel bored. So I make things and I start and I don't finish till I've got about 70 or 80 of them. So I'm a busy girl. I love this group. I really missed it when we didn't get to meet. I love the camaraderie. I love the interchange of ideas, and it's a wonderful group. My husband said, "Why do you go? You don't seem to learn anything." I said, "That's not it. We go and talk sewing, and it's wonderful, and I hope it continues, and I hope I get to come often."
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now see that? Doesn't that feel good? All of our serotonin levels are higher now. It's because it's true, when you make strange noises, fun noises, your serotonin can go up. I'm just trying to help you all sleep better tonight. Also, it's true, like when you see an act of kindness happen or a positive thing happen, it makes your serotonin spike. So everybody should be feeling great, and you're all gonna sleep good tonight. Don't sleep now. So I just appreciate you letting me take that time for us to encourage each other. So the next part of what I want to share with you, we've got just a few minutes left in my presentation, specifically 11 minutes, okay? I will try. So I am not only like encouraging people to pursue their dreams and all of that, but I'm also a mental health advocate, raising awareness about mental health. There's been more talk about it lately because I think all the COVID things and people being isolated from each other, and there's been more incidences of people talking more openly about their mental health struggles. And just real briefly, I'm just gonna rush through something real quick. Just basically for me personally, when I got married I've been married twice. My first and second husband, when I married each one separately, of course, not at the same time. I got married to the first one, because I needed to be loved so badly, and because I had my own issues, unresolved issues. And then second husband, same thing. I rushed into a marriage with someone that I thought was my happily ever after, and it turned out that it wasn't. But in the first marriage, I put in a good run. Like I put in 20 years in that first one, and this part, as I share this part, I realize when we're in a room like this and a quantity of women like this, there's some people in here who have been through some things that they don't talk about to anybody, and maybe they don't like to think about them. And I get it. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Sorry if your name's Debbie. I don't mean it. I'm not trying to be, bring you down. I just want you to know, I want to encourage you. This is a safe place, and encourage you that when you have people that you care about and that you trust and everything, that can be really helpful sometimes to overcome past hurts that you don't even realize why. Like you'll be out in the store, you'll be out doing whatever, something will pop up, and it'll really upset you. Like more than it should. The thing that happened is upsetting you way more than it should. But if you traced it back, you might find out that when you were a kid, something happened where you didn't get to speak your piece. You were always told to hush, you were always told to be quiet, you were always dismissed, or whatever your thing was. That can be, your reactions to things that are happening to you now can sometimes be traced back to bad things that happened to you in the past that you never addressed them. You never got permission to say, you know what, that thing that happened to me was wrong. And that person was wrong for doing it, and it's okay that I'm mad about that. I don't have to be okay with them doing that, Forgiving somebody else for something bad they did to you doesn't make them right. It just makes you free. So just want to throw that out there for you. So me talking about my past a little bit, some of you may have been through some hard things, marriages or abuse too. So I'm not trying to get you upset, but I'm gonna just share a little bit of my personal story real quick. So like I said, 20 years of marriage and mental and emotional abuse, which I couldn't even see that it was mental, emotional abuse. I didn't, because I was so tangled up. I just was convinced that I was the problem and everything was my fault. And I didn't love myself, and I didn't accept myself. And so I was willing to accept the love or lack of love that I thought I deserved. And part of that had to do with me feeling shame, and I'll apologize in advance if I get choked up or teary-eyed. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But, you know, I had shame from my past mistakes. The past mistakes that I did the things that happened that I did, that I chose, they were on me. They can sometimes, when you have that shame still hanging on you and you haven't forgiven yourself even, it can make it hard to love and accept yourself. And for me,
Take your deep breath.
when I was a teenager, I made some choices and I experimented with some substances. And no big deal, I'm not judging on people who experiment with substances. I mean, the world is full of interesting things to try. But I suffered the consequences quite quickly I tried LSD. That's an acid. That's like a hallucinogenic. It's a psychotic type drug. And I had a bad reaction to it. And I was like that kid that I remember being in elementary school, and the Don't Do Drugs campaign was heavy going on at that point. And there was this drama team that came in to do a Don't Do Drugs presentation, and they were showing all these horrible reactions that it was acting out a story, but you know, that they had to try, these people did LSD or they did whatever, and they had a bad reaction, they lost their minds. I think I was like in 6th grade or something like that when I saw that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad, I'll never do that. Well, by the time I was 18 or around there, I'd forgotten about all those warnings and I decided to try it. And I ended up in a psychiatric hospital, catatonic, for 2 weeks straight. And my poor family didn't know if I was ever gonna be normal, or what's normal, but you know, like sound-minded ever again. My poor mom, you know, my poor grandma, my grandma had me on a worldwide prayer chain, you know, okay, I can stop now, or I can keep going for a couple more minutes. Okay. All right, I'm giving myself a couple more minutes. And so, all of that to say, it's been a long, hard road to mental health recovery. My mental health is my most precious possession. My mom never gave up on me. My family never gave up on me. There is so much power in being there for someone when someone needs you to believe in them, and that's what my family did for me. And you know, they were there to help me. They were there to be supportive of me. They were very patient with me as I was so out of it for a long time, as I was getting back to regular Jenny. And you know, not to be an enabler. If you have a person in your life who's making bad choices and self-destructive choices, not to be an enabler where you're just fueling or perpetuating their destructive behaviors, but not to shut them out completely either. You know, there's a balance. There's a balancing act. And having that trusted circle of people I can confide in, it is when it's too much, when life's too much for me to handle on my own, whether it's a family or a friend, you know, it helps a lot. My dear friend Carrie here was there for me the night that husband number 2 surprised me with abandonment. Like, he was just, that morning I was like, oh honey, I love you so much, and I know we can get through anything because we're together and we can face anything. And I'm holding his face in my hands and telling him how much I love him, and he's smiling at me and kissing my face. And then that night I got home and all of his stuff was gone, he was gone, and I'm calling, where are you? And he's like, I can't do this anymore, and whatever his reasons were. But Carrie didn't know that was happening to me. But, you know, I don't know if anybody in here is spiritual or not, or believes in the Lord, or whatever your faith is, but I've known her since I was 18, and we met through church, and she was at a restaurant, and all of a sudden she was like, she just knew, just like this big, intense impression was, call Jenny, right now, call her. And she didn't know why, but my phone goes off, and it's her. Where are you, Jenny? What are you doing? And I was bawling, I was devastated, I was just crushed. I was wrecked through and through, because I thought he was my happily ever after, forever love, and that's not what the case was. And he even just, the next couple of days, he even served me with divorce papers like that. So it was like, really, he was not playing around. But Carrie was there for me that night. And if she hadn't been, we don't know. We don't know what would have happened to Jenny. We just don't know. So having that circle of friends, whether you have the nerve to call them and tell them what your problem is, or they love you and they just kind of know when to call you. There's a value in not hiding your pain from each other. And I just want to put that out there. And now, here's one more thing. And then after this, one more thing. There's 20 more things. No. After this, one more thing. I have a video to show you. It's the audio part of it. And it's a young lady's testimony. It's just like 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes, okay? And it has to do with a place that Carrie and I were involved with. It has to do, that Desert Connection is sewing, because we started a sewing program for those kids over there who were abused kids. And Carrie's still going and doing it. So to wrap kind of that up, I'm gonna say, I'm learning to believe in myself. I'm learning to accept and love myself. And it's kind of that thing, like, accept myself right now, how I am today, who I am right now, flaws and all. And this is kind of, that thing of how I kind of talk to you about the oxygen and doing nice things for yourself and giving yourself permission to get the nice thing for yourself. Well, giving you permission to accept yourself right now, the way you are today, right now. I heard this good illustration, and it's this thing of, okay, there's this apple tree, and how absurd and irrational would it be to pluck a piece of fruit, the apple, off the tree, the apple's not ripe, and you pluck this unripe apple off and you bite into it and you're like, oh, this apple's terrible, blah, 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 this terrible apple, this tree, it wasn't ripe yet. It wasn't done. We're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. Our story's not over yet. So, accept yourself today. There was nothing wrong. That apple wasn't bad. It was just not ready, right? It was right on time with where it was supposed to be, what it was supposed to be. Okay. So, now I'm learning, and I'm going to know better so I can do better, learning about having healthy boundaries. And I'm going to show you this video. And before I do, let me wrap. These are my closing remarks, I promise. And then here's the 4-minute video, audio. So I want you to just take this with you, to be encouraged, to be the voice of hope to your kids. You matter to somebody in this room. You matter to somebody in your family. You matter to somebody at the shops you frequent. You matter to people. You don't realize it, but you do. But you could be the voice of hope to your kids, to your grandkids, to your friends, to a stranger who crosses your path. You can be the kindness, that this world needs. You can make a difference right where you are if you just pay attention to the opportunities around you. And this mentality of being aware of what's going on around me, to recognize needs that are around me and take action whenever it's appropriate to take some kind of action, is the key to my recovery and my healing. And it helps me to get out of my head and stop fixating on my self-doubts and stop fixating on where I think I'm not good enough. Because I'm so busy building someone else up, then I'm too busy to tear myself down. And so I want you to take that with you. And this little audio clip is from a young lady who went through a place called Freedom Place. And that's where Carrie and I created a sewing program for the kids. These kids have been human trafficked. They're American born, Houston, whatever, kids, not just Houston, not limited to Houston. But this young lady, you'll hear her little brief story, but these kids are getting exploited basically, and then they're left with the wreckage, and then they don't know what to do with themselves. And Freedom Place is a residential treatment center where the kids can go and stay up to a year or so and get counseling and therapy and activities and faithful volunteers who go and interact with them and love on them. And so this is actually encouraging the kids not to give up, but also just share a little bit about herself. And again, I do apologize to anybody in this room who this might trigger you, because maybe you have something that you went through too. But you're not alone. The thing is, you're not alone. At 16 years old, Ashley's father began selling her for sex. After a year of being trafficked, she was rescued by the FBI and other law enforcement agencies.
I was scared. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about my dad. I didn't want to talk about the life. I wasn't ready. And I know that that's how almost every girl feels when they first get out. Like, that it's not over. And honestly, the healing process is never over. It's taken me almost 3 years since I left Freedom Place. And I'm still healing. I still have my moments when it's hard to wake up and look at the day for what it is and not what it was. It's hard to wonder what it would be like if I hadn't gone to Freedom Place. Freedom Place saved me. Without Freedom Place, I wouldn't have anything. They were my family. I had no actual family after the trafficking happened. None of my family was ready to deal with what I'd been through. And they didn't want anything to do with me. They blamed me for not telling anyone.
Now at 20, employed and engaged, Ashley reflects on the time she spent at Arrow's Freedom Place.
Looking back at it now, my favorite experience about being there was the staff, the people who made you talk about it. Even though you're not quite ready, some of them, they don't, the therapists, they're the ones that make you talk about it, but the staff, most of them you can just know which ones you can just talk to, and they're there. It was like having 12 mothers at one time. It was just definitely a great experience being there. Of course, it had its moments of, I don't want to be here anymore, I hate this place. And when you're there, it definitely seems like, God, I'd rather be anywhere but here. And then you leave, and you realize all of the great things it's done for you.
3 years after leaving, Ashley offers encouragement to the residents currently at Freedom Place.
Now is not the time for you to give up. It's the time that you fight for what you want. Freedom Place can teach you so many things. And I know you hate being there right now. I know you hate talking about your feelings and your past and what other people have done to you and how you feel about it. But one day, you're gonna look back and say, I did this. I conquered this. And if I can do this, I can do anything.
And the website, if you're interested in getting involved or donating support to a place like Freedom Place, it's www.arrow, and that is ARROW.org, O-R-G, and then /freedom. So arrow.org/freedom if you're interested in finding out more about maybe volunteering with the sewing program that Carrie's running now, or maybe just donating some finances to help the kids have what they need. And thank you, you've been awesome!
So
So Jenny, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure to listen to your story. And I have a little something here for you.